Please remain standing for the national anthem. Please remove your hats. Please be seated. I'm Greg Kegel, Chancellor of MSU-Northern. On behalf of the students, faculty, and staff of Montana State University Northern, I'm granted the honor of welcoming each of you as we celebrate the accomplishments of the classes of 2020 and 2021. Please take a moment to mute or turn off your cell phones. Students, due to health protocols, I've been told I'm not to give you hugs or shake your hands when you come up for your picture. Please feel free to take your masks off for the picture if you're comfortable doing that. Thank you. Now please allow me to introduce our platform guests. I ask that each person stand and remain standing as I call your names. Please hold your applause until the last person is introduced. Mr. Joel Soysath, Professor of Arts and Science and our Faculty Marshal. Dr. David Kruger, Dean of the Technical Sciences. Mr. Kevin McCrae, Deputy Commissioner, Office of Higher Education. Ms. Maura Gatch, Vice Chancellor of Enrollment Management. Mr. Corey Kopp, Dean of Students. And Mr. Alex Breeding, our commencement speaker. I'd also like to introduce a few special guests. My wife, Sherry. I always like to call out Jody Koffler. She's my right-hand person in our office, and thank you for all you've done to help get this thing off, Jody. I'd also like to say a few words about Kevin McCrae. He's made the journey up this morning from Helena and the Commissioner's office. Kevin, thanks for doing that. I greatly appreciate that effort. Kevin's a longtime friend of MSU Northern, and he's always been a go-to guy for the small campuses. He's taking care of us. He's taking care of us through our unions, and it's greatly appreciated. I'm glad to have him as a friend. This time I'd like to invite our Student Senate President, Riley Mortensen, to address the students.
Good afternoon, family, friends, faculty, and fellow graduates. So here we are, somewhere between 2 and however many years it took us to get here. We're leaving college. My name is Riley Mortensen. I'm not quite the outgoing ASMSUN president, as I have a few classes to finish up in the fall. I want to start by saying congratulations to the 421 eligible MSU-Northern students graduating. You all have accomplished one of the major early milestones in our lives, college graduation. This is a major step in the journey of our lives, one that should be recognized for its immense significance. It is an act not only of personal commitment, but also one of pride. We all worked hard to get to this day, and our work did not go to waste. A college degree is a wonderful tool in this world, one that opens many doors for opportunity for anyone who is lucky enough to have one. So where to from here? The answer to that question is varied as the students who make up this year's graduating class. Many of us know, or claim to know, exactly the next step to take, whether that step is going into grad school, a full-time job, or even a trip backpacking through Europe. Others like me will tell you we have little to no idea. The big thing about college is learning about yourself, and many of us will leave our majors with some vague idea of the job we'd like to get or business we'd like to start, but nothing more. Whatever we decide, most of us will agree that Havre was the perfect place to foster our minds and bodies in the critical learning phase. The city has been nothing but accommodating to our sometimes silly, sometimes rowdy behavior. The same can be said to our wonderful university. I'm a totally different person than I was coming in as a freshman 5 years ago. Yes, 5. And I'm not quite done. I hope I'm also a better one. I've learned so much about my field, my interests, myself, and so on. I feel like if I were to go back in time, my younger self wouldn't even recognize me, and in more ways than one. I can only hope this passion for learning carries over when I have to search out the information myself instead of blinking to class and taking notes. I suppose real-life experience will teach us all a lot either way. Parents, you're probably wondering where the years have gone. As you marvel at your sons' and daughters' accomplishments, it doesn't seem that long ago these young adults we honor today were toddling off to start kindergarten. Of course, living through those years between kindergarten and graduation may have seemed like an eternity for the students and for the parents as well. You are the graduating classes of 2020 and 2021. Wherever your future takes you, let it take you somewhere. Life is a journey, and all accomplishments we achieve during this course should be taken as starting points for further achievements. Our graduation serves as a launching point, projecting us to wherever our futures are meant to take us, whether we land ourselves a career, start our own company, or continue our education at grad school. Congrats to the spring and fall classes of 2020 and 2021.
Thank you, Riley. Thanks for all you do for Northern. I would now like to recognize those at MSU-Northern who have contributed significantly to helping these graduates achieve today's milestone. First, the faculty at MSU-Northern who dedicate their lives to student success. I want to make sure that everybody realizes the effort that our faculty did play the last 18 months in getting these students where they are today. The pandemic threw everybody in a pretty big tailspin, and they were called upon to do things that honestly they never imagined they could do, and they did it, and I'll be forever grateful. I know Northern will be forever grateful, and I think these students will be forever grateful too, so thank you for that effort, you guys. With those faculty in those colleges, as I announce your college, please stand. The College of Technical Sciences. We split our graduation into 2 graduations this year to accommodate the people and try to be as safe as we could possibly be. We also truncated the ceremony just a little bit. There's no music, and you probably noticed that there was no armor guard and things like that, just to cut down on numbers. But this is graduates of the College of Technical Sciences, and those are their faculty. This morning we had Arts and Sciences and the College of Health Sciences. In addition to the faculty, MSU-Northern staff contribute greatly to the success of our students. Thank you to everybody who has contributed time and effort in order to make today's ceremony memorable. This time, I'd also like to recognize this year's retirees. Dr. Darlene Sellers, Dean of the College of Arts and Science and Education. She is retiring after 23 years of dedicated service to MSU-Northern. Ms. Viggy Klaus, Assistant Professor of Biology and Earth Sciences. She is retiring after 18 years of dedicated service to MSU-Northern. And Mr. Lawrence Slofelt, Assistant Professor of Plumbing Technology. He is retiring after 14 years of dedicated service to MSU-Northern. I also want to recognize at this time recent retirees who have been granted emeritus status. The title of Professor Emeritus is awarded for outstanding and meritorious service, as well as individual distinction at Montana State University Northern. Such service has been demonstrated by scholarship, meritorious teaching, and contributions to the institution. Emeritus status is the capstone of one's academic career. Mr. Thomas Welch received emeritus status at the March 2021 Board of Regents meeting following 39 years of service. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Thomas Welch. Mr. William Danley received emeritus status at the May 2020 Board of Regents meeting following 45 years of service. Please join us in congratulating Mr. William Danley. And Dr. Lawrence Strizich received emeritus status at the May 2020 Board of Regents meeting following 30 years of service. Please join us in congratulating Dr. Lawrence Strizich. Dean Kopp will present the degrees, and Chancellor Keel will extend all the congratulations. Dean Corey Cope, will you now make the special introductions?
Good afternoon. We recently had the pleasure of recognizing a group of students for their overall contributions to the university. Every year, Students' Excellence Awards are presented to recipients who are nominated by peers, faculty, and administration for scholarship, outstanding service, and achievements at Montana State University Northern. Will the following Student Excellence Award recipients please stand and be recognized? Please hold your applause until all names have been called. Abigail Ellison, Adam Hughes, Alec Breeding, Alex Goldhahn, Amos Tezwa, Brittany Olivia Garden, Casey E. Kane, Cody Thomas Murphy, Devin Giacomo Bray, Erica Anderson, Kashay Pism Ahenakew Baker, Lana Joy Gibbs, Luke Burton Retch, Maceo McCadney, Mackenzie Gunter, Morgan Mason, Nicole LaFond Rooney, Petra Linnea Sellen, Riley Lucero Peterson, Ryan Bennett Roach, Robert Francis Pear III, Samuel W. Smith, Shania Neubauer, Timothy Tracy, and Wiley Novak.
Y'all may be seated. I would now like to recognize our students who are graduating with honors from Montana State University Northern. The maroon cords designate that a student is graduating cum laude or with a minimum GPA of 3.5 on a 4.0 scale. The silver cord designates magna cum laude or a minimum GPA of 3.75. The gold cord designates with highest honor of summa cum laude. These students are graduating with a 4.0 GPA. All honors graduates, please stand. Please be seated. Your program also designates students who are graduating with department distinctions. These graduates are selected by their faculty and their departments for their outstanding performance at Northern. All students graduating with department distinction, please stand and be recognized. And you may be seated as well. We are pleased to honor all graduates who have served in the armed services. The red, white, and blue cords designate these graduates. Will all veteran graduates please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Chancellor Kegel will now address the graduates.
It is my honor to be standing here today to congratulate and address the graduating classes 2020 and 2021. I'd like to thank all the parents, the grandparents, the spouses, children, siblings, extended family, and friends for the support you have given these graduates in the pursuit of this accomplishment. These are great classes. This has been a kind of an interesting couple years. I'm so proud that you guys have made it this far, that you were able to stay on course and do what you came here to do. It was a struggle. It was a struggle for every one of us. I like to tell the story of coming back from the last Board of Regents meeting that I went to and was informed that I'd been exposed to COVID-19 and that I had to go into quarantine. And it was so new at that time that people didn't know what that really meant, whether I was going to die or whether I was going to live, and I didn't either. But at the same time, I was making calls from home about what we were going to do with this institution. And we were trying to figure out whether we're going to keep it going, keep it face-to-face, put it online. And by the day, we were making changes. One day, we were going to do every course online that we could do online, and the next day we were doing everything online. A couple weeks later, I was calling students that were home for spring break and asking them not to come back if they didn't have to. And when I think back on that, what chancellor in his right mind would ever do something like that? But we did what we had to do. I was worried as I could possibly be that this fall the enrollment would tank and everybody had just opted out of coming back, and I wouldn't have probably blamed you a little bit if you would have, because the uncertainties were huge. But our enrollment held, and this spring our enrollment increased. We increased enrollment over last fall, which is something that usually doesn't happen at a university. And so when I weighed my way around campus this spring, I'd come into my office one day and we hadn't done anything for 18 months. We hadn't had an event on the campus. We told the general public that they couldn't come on our campus. Closed buildings, closed the gym, closed the library, all of those types of things. And it was, as hard as it was for you guys, it was hard for us too. The normal year, I have several hundred students at the chancellor's house where we celebrate different types of things. And for the last 18 months, we haven't had anybody up there. And so Morris said, you got to get out and about. You got to start, interacting with those students again. And so for the last couple months, we've been doing our walkabouts and stopping in and talking to students in their classroom. And the big message for me to the students is how proud I am of you guys for what you've done, what you've accomplished in these times. And when you think about coming to college, you think about activities. You think about basketball games and football games and all of the club events. And we canceled every one of those on you. And I'm sorry we had to do that. In a way, I think you got gypped. And in a way, I think I got gypped because I didn't get to know you as well as I would have liked to have got to know you. But in a way, and I've been told this by many people, we're going to be better off for it. I think as an institution, Northern will be a little bit better. We learned to do something that we weren't ready to do, and we realized that we could do it. And as students, I think that you learned things too about being creative and being adaptive that are going to be better for you in the long run too. So anyways, I hope that today you can celebrate. I hope that in the near future, COVID-19 is behind us. I hope you can figure out ways to stay safe and healthy and keep the people around you the same way. But anyways, thank you for persisting. Thank you for keeping your eye on the prize, because this thing is going to work for you in so many different ways. There's going to be doors open for you now that you haven't even seen the door yet. And you did it because you stayed with it. So congratulations, graduates. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our 2021 commencement speaker, Mr. Alex Breeding. Alex is a junior at Montana State University Northern, working on earning his bachelor's degree in business administration with a minor in psychology and accounting. He comes to MSU-Northern from Conrad, Montana, and follows in his father's and his sister's footsteps in pursuit of a degree from Northern. Alex is one of 10 students to receive a Student Excellence Award in 2021. He exemplifies admirable commitment to academics and serves as a positive role model both for people whom he mentors and for the students across this campus. Alex has also been a valued member of the Residence Life Team and was instrumental in MSU Northern's initial COVID-19 response last spring. As a Student Excellence winner and an exemplary role model, Alex rose to the occasion of multiple times throughout the school year of uncertainties. He hopes to share his experience and insight into how to meet difficult challenges and rise to the occasion as part of his speech to the graduating class of 2021. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Alex Breeding.
Well, thank you, Chancellor Kegel, for the introduction. I'd first like to start off and say good afternoon and welcome. It's an honor to be a recipient of the Student Excellence Award and to be able to be with everyone face-to-face today. First, I'd like to congratulate all the graduates on their achievement in making it to this moment. I'd like to thank the administration, faculty, staff, and students for everything that they do on this campus. They are what make Northern, Northern. When Dean Kruger asked me if I would give a speech at graduation, he told me that I could take it and run in any direction. The whole field was open, and I got to pick any position. You would think that being able to pick which way you want to run would be easy, but I found myself stuck in a hurry. I kept thinking to myself, if only I had an old wise man that would be able to give me advice and be able to help me pick a direction and take off running. That's when the light switch in my head turned on, and I knew an old wise man that would be able to point me in that direction. And that old wise man was Mr. Lanny Wilkie. I found myself in Lanny's office. I told him that I was going to be giving a speech at graduation. He asked me what I was going to talk about, which, I'm going to be honest, I had no idea. I was lost, and I tried to play my way out of it and told him I hadn't gotten that far yet. But Lanny, being the old wise man that he is, he leaned back in his chair, started tapping his head. And he asked me, if you were sitting in graduation, what would you want to hear? Well, my first thought was I'd want to hear my name called so I can get the heck out of here. But then my second thought was I would want to be reminded of all the experiences and growth that I had during college. I began to have flashbacks of coming to Northern as a freshman and having no clue what I was doing or if I was doing anything right. My only goals at the time were to get good grades and then walk out of here with a degree. I never imagined that I'd be a recipient of a Student Excellence Award, and I definitely did not imagine giving a speech at graduation. But I guess new things happen every day. I began reflecting on my past 3 years at Northern. I recognized that my perspective shifted from learning subject matter to learning about myself. I've learned that education doesn't only happen in the classroom. It can happen everywhere as long as you're paying attention, which, if any of you guys know me, which I can see a couple familiar faces, I have a hard time paying attention. These life lessons can happen from learning how to do your laundry for the first time, which was a pain because Mom would always do that for me, and getting away from college, had no clue what I was doing. There was many phone calls home being, what do I do here? But thankfully my parents were there to guide me along the way. Or being out of state on an internship for the first time, or having to adjust to online classes in the middle of a semester. Every experience that you have had at Northern has made you who you are today and will stick with you for a lifetime. One day you'll be able to sit back and look at some of the stories One day you'll be able to sit back and look at all the stories that you've had and the fun times and be able to tell your kids some cool stories. But I know I heard from my old man that I wouldn't be allowed to get away with some of the stuff they did because you just get in too much trouble. And then I'd always look at him and be like, yeah, okay, Dad, whatever you say. At the end of your college career, it's not about your GPA, it's not about the awards you received, and it's not about how many degrees you're going to walk away with. It's about the experiences you've had and the person you've become. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex, and thanks for all you do for Northern. It's appreciated. This time, Dave Kruger, Dean of the College of Technical Sciences, will present the degree candidates.
Chancellor Kegel, I am pleased to present the candidates for degrees of Bachelor of Science, Associate of Applied Science, and Certificate. Candidates, please rise. Chancellor Kegel, these candidates, upon recommendation by the faculty of the appropriate departments, have met the requirements for the baccalaureate or associate degree or certificate program. Graduates, please be seated until the marshal asks you to move to the podium to receive your degrees. I also ask that members of the audience please hold your applause until all graduates have crossed the stage. Marshals Cornell and Milligan, will you please escort the new graduates to the platform to receive their degrees, and congratulations.
Erica Taylor Anderson. Carl R. Cronin. Garrett Thomas Deppner. Riley Ann Mortensen. Tara Lee Woldstad. Slate G. Duran. Mary A. Cotula. Evan Garrett Works. Darius Edward Alexander Jones II. Kayvon Bay. Warren Michael Blackman. Shelby Brookie. Shaylin Bruff. Coulter Chrisman. Summer Lauren Edwards. Mary Arrow. Randy Elizabeth Gabrielson. Desmond Grant. Giovanni Christian Alexander Jackson. Elias R. Lovo. Cody Thomas Murphy. Tatiana Ralph. Jet Robertson. Roland Cornelius Bogner. Aaron Burt. Logan McCoy Flynn. Jordan Thomas Griffith. Shay E. Osborne. Brian James Schmidt. Garrett Kendall Anderson. Melesio Alejandro Arias. Jace Michael Amuller. Alexander Dean Brewrud. Parker Deegan. Daniel First Raised. Zachary A. Fromm. Lawrence A. Gannon. Stephen Michael Hale. Sean Harvey. Hayden J. Heilig. Justin S. King. Hayden Johnson. Dan Kirwa. Dylan Myrie. Trevor Daniel Patterson. Jacob Lane Roseanne. Nathaniel Sage. Tucker W. Stenberg. Kevin T. Borlaug. Seth Hawkins. Dayton Jade Keeler. Nathan August Korb. Kai Lane Crumweedy. Tristan Jacob Pierce. Jonathan M. Dewey. Tatum Marie Gunderson. Ariana A. Vathier. Colton J. Little. Samantha J. Merwin. Kyler Brown. Isabella Grace Lawless. Noah Molitor. Russell Cope. Larry Wayland Verts. Jarrett Allen Green. Joseph D. Lencioni. Sydney Toivo Markle. Jacob Thompson. Joseph Michael Velk. Troy R. Amsden. Isaac Dean Casey. Joseph J. Litzinger. Casey J. Mariani. Brandon Chase Story. Jacob P. Cheney. Micah Wade Miranda. Nicholas J. Montegino. Joshua K. Subik. Dylan R. Vies. Sawyer Manuel. Adler B. Morgan.
Graduates, please rise. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of Higher Education of the state of Montana, I hereby confer the degrees of Bachelor's of Science, Associate of Applied Science, and certificate programs for which you have qualified. You may now move the tassel from the right to the left side of your mortarboard. Now please turn and face the audience and take this opportunity to thank your family and friends for their support in helping you achieve this milestone. Please be seated. In closing, I'd also like to recognize the impact that Montana State University Northern has had across generations and throughout the years. Any member in the audience who's a graduate of Northern Montana College or Montana State University Northern, please stand. Welcome home. Please allow the graduates and faculty to leave the gymnasium first. Once outside, please utilize proper social distancing while congratulating our graduates. Now, please stand and remain standing until the recessional has been concluded.